Hey everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. I want to start with a quick movie review. We finally got around to seeing Skyscraper, which was fine, I guess. It really is just Die Hard. I prefer something more like The Towering Inferno, where you have a lot of characters, and it's a disaster movie, and there's a ton of characters, and like half of them will die trying to survive the disaster. But here, it's more just Die Hard, and like The Rock is clearly not going to die because he's the hero of the movie, and then neither is his family because he has to rescue them, or like it's a crowd-pleasing summer action movie starring The Rock. Like, nobody's going to die that's going to make the viewers upset. So there's really no like genuine suspense. It's mostly just, okay, that's a crazy problem, and how is that going to get solved? And you watch them do the crazy stunts, and they solve the problems or whatever. So it's fine. It's very screenwriting 101. There's no surprises. Like, it's very much like, oh look, here's the building, and here are these features of the building, and these are all foreshadowing because they're all going to come into play in the end, you know. And it's just super obvious and whatever, but it's like, eh. But it was entertaining enough, and I actually kind of wish that I'd seen it in 3D, although, because there's a lot of shots of him, like, dangling off of buildings with, like, you know, the vastness of nothing below him, and it's like, in 3D, if they did the 3D well, and really added a sense of depth to that, like, I think that I would get vertigo, and it would be much more effective. But I don't want to pay for it, because I knew I wouldn't really enjoy it that much, so I use MoviePass. But the problem is, and here, I just have a little mini-rant here, MoviePass, it's still $10 a month, but they have now instituted what they call surge pricing, where movies that are very popular and like trending high and like selling out and whatever are going to cost a few extra dollars. The first weekend that they did it was when Skyscraper opened, and we went to look to see, and I remember checking the app and seeing, like around like 10 o'clock or so, there were little gray lightning bolts over like literally every single showing. That's my hamster having a little drink of water, if you can hear that, sorry. Shh! Go back to sleep. But the gray icons mean that it's on its way to surge pricing, and they turn red when they will actually charge you more money. So, they were red by like noon, and I was like, what the F? Like, this is so irritating. And literally every showing, and I'm like, this can't be, like, it can't be that popular. And then there were other movies where, like, literally every showing, like Hotel Transylvania 3, every showing read, it would cost you an extra $4 or $5 to go to see that movie. Even The Purge, which came out the previous week, all read lightning bolts. And I thought, this is messed up, because now, like, what the hell? But the following weekend, it appears that it's not as bad, and now the lightning bolts seem to be appearing a little more randomly, so it's like the more popular evening shows and not so much the afternoon matinees and such. So like, I feel like the first weekend they just like overdid it and just surge priced everything, and this weekend was more like, okay, this is more a more realistic surge pricing where things are not quite like every showing of a new movie. It's just like a handful of showings. And I mean, you can also avoid the surge pricing by buying your ticket like at noon for a 6 o'clock show, because it might be surge pricing at 5, but at noon it's not, because it's early enough. But you have to actually go to the theater to do that, which is kind of annoying. So, you know, it's a lot of extra effort if you want to see something. And something like Skyscraper, I don't want to go through any extra effort, and I'll just wait a week, and it's fine. You could also just, instead of seeing it opening weekend, go on Monday. And then, you know, it probably won't be surge pricing on a Monday night, because who the hell goes to the movies on a Monday night? But I got really frustrated with MoviePass, And my husband was like, if they do it again next weekend like this, and we still can't see Skyscraper, I'm canceling and I'm telling them why. But I was willing to give them a little leeway and see how this panned out, because clearly, like, the opening weekend was, like, a lot of red lightning bolts, and I'm just like, I'm not paying $4.50. And they are going to do a thing soon. They said that they're going to give everybody, like, one surge pass, so that you can go see a surged-priced movie for free. You can waive the extra charge once a month. So that'll be good, and you just have to pick, like, okay, this is the movie I want to actually use my surge pricing on so that I can see it opening weekend and not wait. So I'm still in MoviePass, so it's fine. As for gaming, I'm still playing Wolfenstein 2, which I'm still enjoying. It's always fun killing Nazis. Although there was a bit where I was walking down, like, Main Street, USA, and I saw a couple of Klansmen in their full robes chatting casually with a Nazi soldier, and I felt like it was giving me a preview of what to expect here in America. Things are going that way. So I felt like, it's a bit a little prophetic. But what I forgot to mention last episode when I was talking about Wolfenstein is that in between Lego's Marvel Superheroes and getting Wolfenstein, I also got another game that I completely forgot to mention, and that's Luminous Remastered on the Switch. I played the hell out of that game on my PSP back in the day. It was probably my most played PSP game. It was the shit. I loved it. I played it so much. Although, now that I have the Switch version, I find I'm doing the same thing where I'm just playing the main game and I'm not doing, like, any of the other modes as much. But Luminous Remastered has all kinds of different modes. It has the main challenge mode, then it has, like, mission modes, it has, like, puzzle modes, it has, like, two-player battles, and there's a lot going on. But I tend to just play the puzzle mode. It's funny because I have a friend who's like, oh, now we can play online. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay. But then now that there's online leaderboards and I see that his score is like, he's like my #1 scoring friend, and I'm just like, yeah, we're not playing two-player, because you're going to kick my ass. Which is not going to be fun for me, because I'm just going to get my ass kicked. And it's not going to be fun for him either, because he'll kick my ass in like 30 seconds, and it won't even be a challenge. So, but it's really fun. I am not entirely crazy about some of the new music and stuff. I feel like I liked the original music, but that's just me. Like, I'm playing it and I'm just like, I don't like this, and then it'll change. But every tune you're like, no, I don't really like this sound, and then it'll change to the next skin, and that music will be better, and you're like, oh, okay, this is better. My only complaint with it is that I find that when I play with it, I have to play with the Joy-Cons, because the Joy-Con because you don't use the stick to move the blocks around, you use the buttons. And on the Joy-Con, they're actually separate buttons, so you move left and right and then drop it. Whereas on the Pro Controller, because it's not buttons, it's a D-pad, when I go left and right, sometimes I might go down just enough that it drops the brick where I did not want it to go. And early on, it's fine. It just gives you a challenge to try to clear that up and fix your mess. But later on, when things are getting up there, accidentally dropping a block, that'll just destroy your entire game. And it's like the most annoying, frustrating thing. So I actually prefer to play it in portable mode, or if I'm going to play it on my TV, I play with the Joy-Cons, because the Pro Controller, I can't play this game with the Pro Controller. I do so much worse. It's so bad. But I recommend it. It's not expensive. It's a great puzzle game, if you're in the mood for it. I know there's a lot of great Switch games out right now. Everyone's talking about Octopath Traveler, but I'm still playing Wolfenstein, so I'm not playing Octopath Traveler now. But I did love the demo, as you know, and I do want to get the game. My only concern is that I have heard some people on Twitter and such saying how it's super hard. And I'm like, so I'm a little wary of, I feel like the demo might have been like a little easier, because they didn't want you to get frustrated playing a demo, because then if you get frustrated playing a demo, you're not going to buy the game. I know this. It's happened to me. And I've been like, nope, we're not buying this game. This is not my thing. So I worry that, like, I'll start playing it and it'll be delightful and fun, and then I'm going to just hit a wall, and I'm going to be like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. I suck at this game. Hopefully that wall comes, like, really late in the game, so that I feel like I've gotten my money's worth, but, you know, but that's next. The other thing I wanted to talk about real quick was No Man's Sky, because No Man's Sky Next is being released next week, the new big huge free update to No Man's Sky, and it has me nervous. While I'm looking forward to graphical upgrades, I think that'll be terrific. I'd love to see, you know, rings around planets, or like better grass textures or whatever, like more variety in trees and animals and animal behavior. That'll be awesome. Although I don't know why anyone would want to play this in a third-person view. I could almost see playing third-person in your ship, but it's like an Elder Scrolls game. I don't want to see myself walking around with a bad animation on an alien planet. I want to see first-person, so it's more immersive, and I feel like I'm on the alien planet. Don't give me third-person view. I want VR, not third-person. I want it more real. But that's just me. I still hope against hope that maybe someday they'll add VR support, but then I will never stop playing this game. But I am worried about adding multiplayer. So this weekend I actually was like, let me pop No Man's Sky back in and just see how I'm doing, and just like check it out and just enjoy the peaceful aloneness before multiplayer gets added. Of course, just playing a little bit of it turned into hours and hours of it. When I went to load my game, I saw that I'd been playing it for like 220-something hours, and I'm like, oh, that's a lot. But then I realized, I'm like, wait though, let me just check. And I took out my 3DS and I checked my 3DS to see, and I've been playing Animal Crossing for over 700 hours, so clearly that's the big winner here. I've been playing it for 5 years every day, so that's clearly my favorite game. No Man's Sky is coming second. Sorry, No Man's Sky, Animal Crossing will always beat you. But it's so wonderful. Like, I've just been like, I just got sucked right back into it again, because I haven't played it in a while, but I just got sucked right back into it, and I'll just play it for like, I'll play it for like an hour, and I'm just like hypnotized, and I'm just like wandering around planets, and looking at such beautiful scenery, and like the monoliths, and learning new words, and it's awesome. Because that's what I love about it. And like, I was on a planet, and some ships flew overhead, because in one of the recent updates, you just see a lot more other ships flying around you. They're just AI, but I looked up and I saw these ships flying over me in front of the planet, and I thought, those could be real people next week, you know? And then I'm like, there's part of me that's like, oh wow, like, those could actually be real people flying over my head, and that's super cool. But then there's the other part of me that goes, but what if they decide they want to steal my ship and they just kill me? Because I'm always worried about PvP. And I read an extensive interview with Sean Murray, where he talked about how he kind of didn't want to put that in the game with multiplayer, but when you have ships that have guns, and like he's like, people are going to want to fight their friends, so I feel like I have to have that option there for them. Otherwise it would be weird. So he felt obligated to include it, and I'm just like, did you though? Because that's what worries me, is like, I'm like, every time I run into a pirate, I always try to run away and go down to a planet until he leaves me alone. Because my ship is a hauler, and it's not really made for space fighting, and then my actual skills in the gameplay are not made for space fighting, so it's not a good combination. And if I try to fight back against space pirates, I will die. 9 times out of 10, I die. So I'm just there to explore, catalog new life forms, and plants, and planets, and moons, and everything. I just want to explore. It's peaceful, it's lovely, it's wonderful, occasionally hazardous, but I'm not getting into space battles. I don't care about, like, you know, all that nonsense. But I'm worried that the multiplayer is going to ruin this. But there's two things that I'm hopeful. One is that No Man's Sky, I feel like the people who are playing No Man's Sky aren't those PvP dicks. Like 95% of them. I've heard stories. But I feel like 95% of the people playing No Man's Sky are like cool, and they're not going to like just go around trying to kill the other players for fun. And the other thing is that the universe that they've procedurally generated is so vast that the odds of like randomly running into another player on the randomly generated planet that you're on should be pretty slim, you'd think. There's not that many people playing this game. So I feel like if you want to play multiplayer, you'll have to like legitimately like activate it from the menu. There might be an in-game thing. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about like the specifics of how it's going to work. Whether they're going to force you to use an in-game portal in order to link up with your friends to keep it within the universe of the game and the reality of it, or if you're just going to do it from the menu. They might do both. Just so there's one if you want to try to keep in the reality of the game, fine, and if you just want to do it from the menu because it's easier, then just do it from the menu. But, like, I can kind of see the appeal of, like, inviting a player, like, if I'm on, like, this really beautiful new planet that I'm like, wow, this one's really nice, and I'd be like, hey, come and join me, and we'll explore this planet together, and it'll be fun. That, I can kind of see the appeal of that, but I don't want to get involved in space battles and fighting and that sort of thing. I just want to explore. I don't even care about base building. I'm not trying to settle down. I want to explore the universe. So, I'm just going to try to keep doing that, I guess, and hope that the multiplayer doesn't ruin it. So, we'll see what happens. So come back next episode, because they will have updated it, and I just happened to randomly take a day off work, just for a random summer vacation day, just to use up vacation days. I just took a random day off, and I took off Wednesday, so it's going to update on Tuesday, so I'll have, like, all Wednesday afternoon to sit and play it. And so come back next time, and I'll let you know if multiplayer is any good in No Man's Sky. So, see you then! Bye!